Hey everybody, morning Valerie, Jason, Dan, Patrick, Goose if you're here. Morning. And yeah, hey everybody. Good to see ya. This is the Morning Monster. Got my pink monster this morning. Not even sure what flavor that is. It's like, maybe grapefruit? I don't know. Anyway, hey, morning Ed. If you're watching and you want to chat with me, make sure you're a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button, and it'll let you chat in just a moment on the live chat. And then while you're at it, you might as well hit the bell with the notification thingers so you get notified when I go live, because I got another show coming up at 6 p.m. today, doing the 30 minutes of awesome a little bit later today. So hopefully everybody can still make it. I have a conflict doing a salesy type presentation starting at 4 with Lance Ippolito, and then doing 30 minutes of awesome after that, because I couldn't not do 30 minutes of awesome. I mean, and we call it that because I do at least 30 minutes of requests from you, the viewer. So make sure you come tune in for that. And starting out today, we have all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. I may be full of crap, so past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results, although a lot of things I say tend to be right. I don't know. Anyway, this presentation here, informational, educational, and fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument or anything else. So if you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor that has a fiduciary responsibility to give you good advice. So, all right. No, Pat, we did not get that happening yet, but we've got to, I had to open, I don't know, it's, legal got involved and whatever, and I'll get it going here in the next couple weeks. So everybody's still on the list. I still have the list, and Kimberly keeps reminding me I need to set that up with everybody. So I'll give you a couple options, and I'll just set up a couple, and we'll meet, and if you come to one or come to both, it'll work. So anyway, whew, what a day yesterday, right? Big dip, big pop into the close. Looks like we're about to squeeze. Let's pop onto the calendar real quick. We have no real financial, let's go ahead and refresh this baby back to, there we go. This week, Tuesday, nothing super big. We had building permits and housing starts coming out for the U.S. And then we have FOMC member speaking at 1. Not really much else. The rest of the week, a little dry. Some crude inventories. Another FOMC member speaking. They can't help themselves. They got to go speak. Thursday, we have unemployment claims, Philly Fed manufacturing, existing home, and CB lending index. FOMC member Waller speaking, and that's flagged as an orange event. So obviously he's got something juicy-ish. Then we have another member speaking, Bauman. And Friday, we've got the, flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI on Friday morning. So that's the rest of the week. Not too crazy. We do have lots of earnings this week, though. So that's one thing to be cognizant of, especially we getting a few big tech earnings. Pop this back up. We have Netflix tonight, which is what I put on the thumbnail for today. So be careful. That one is coming out tonight if you have a Netflix position, and we get Tesla tomorrow along with IBM, and lots of banks sprinkled in here everywhere, as I said yesterday. And we get some credit card companies, Discover, American Express, and a few other random things. You got some D.R. Horton housing builder, Union Pacific, trains, a little bit of everything kind of getting in here. And we'll see even more earnings next week and the week after. So this is the next couple of weeks probably going to be more slanted, or more biased by earnings than anything else. So we have Bank of America this morning, Johnson & Johnson, BNY Mellon, Ericsson, Mercantile, Commerce Bank, Ellie's Game. So a few randos this morning. Had Pinnacle yesterday, First Bank. I just did a report for First Bank for my engineering job. So funny they show up on here. Anyway, moving on. So the chart, big news yesterday, SVXY right up through the top of the target. Next target up 70, and then 75 above that. So what is that? What is that? The short VIX. I was back in March, mid-March, if everybody recalls, when we were kind of dropping and was like, we were, things were looking like we could break down. I jumped onto a long on short VIX. You know, we were down about 60. I jumped on, no, we were down below 60. I jumped on $60 calls. Yeah, $60 calls was what I jumped on, and I was looking for 66 at the minimum, which I drew out here because I thought it could take a while, and I bought June contracts. Now we're poking above the highs we had in both January and in March before we did that big freak out right there. Hey, Kimberly's here, and it's her mama's birthday today. So happy birthday to my mother-in-law. So SPXY looking for that final little pop up into these targets. So morning, Andreas. Morning, Alan. Glad to see everybody. Alrighty, running on through the list here. SPX continuing to try and attempt to break out. We were pushing higher, but we're still, you know, my prediction yesterday, my bias yesterday was to stay in the range of Friday. We pretty much stayed in the range of Friday. We didn't break, we didn't push down lower, we didn't push out higher. We just stayed in the range and completed that little triangle that I was talking about on ES. Now today, pushing out higher. We need to get higher than right here, and then we can go full on pop right up to this 4,300 area. We could be there this afternoon. It could be one big massive pop. I mean, we could see that. I mean, look at this candle right back here. Remove that little line I put on there. Let's draw us a little line on there. If we did that, look, come on, that's at least halfway to 4,300. So in 2 days we could be there. All right. So just be aware, this could be the breakout that and the pop to 4,300, and it could go quick. Like we may go straight up there to 4,300 and come right back down in a couple days, back down to 4,000, back down to the roadmap line. We could do that. All right. That's very possible. We could be back down here by the end of April. So if we see that giant pop, watch out for the crush. Now, if we break out through 4,300 and rally right up to 4,500, another 200 points higher, watch out, because that can be a red flag. If we do this, the 4,500 area, that red line right now, if we do that and then roll over, come back down through all this stuff, back down through the roadmap line, watch out. That's the indication that we are going lower low than we saw in October. Now, this is very possible right now. Very, kind of scares me a little bit that this potential exists. And this could be a crash scenario, like this could go fast. This could be like COVID crash scenario type situation if we pop up to 4,500. So it's very much on my radar right now. This is like crash protection situation, but we're still, 300 points below that right now. So not yet, preparing for it is not the time right now, because you're going to lose money like crazy on this 300 point run up if we do that straight up there, 300 points. All right, this is good. You got to play smart on this. All right. Stay tuned. Keep coming back. I'll keep you abreast of the situation that's setting up here. So, alrighty. Let's remove some of these arrows and clean it back up. So looking for that pop right up to 4,300 at the minimum, and then most ideally we'll get a pullback from there back into this either high 4,000s or even mid to low 4,000s. Build a nice base again, and then launch on out, and that'll be completely fine. We can keep running with that kind of structure. It just really concerns me if we run right up to 4,500. It's really on my mind right now, is why I keep bringing it back up day after day. So in Q, it on the futures chart, we're getting very close to breaking out again. This thing's probably going to run right up here to 13,800. We have resistance on up from there in this 15,000 area where we consolidated. So big tech's got some stuff to work through, but it can break out and go. I mean, it outperformed to the downside. It can rally right back up to the highs. Russell is on this. It outperformed on this correction with all the small banks, and it has opportunity to break out and catch back up very, very quickly. If it starts breaking out, that might be the opportunity to play the banks. So if Goose is here, if Russell starts fixing itself, that might be the opportunity to play your banks like FAS. And my keyboard, come on now. What's going on this morning? There we go. So this one can rally back strong. And as I was talking about, I think on 30 Minutes of Awesome last week, why is this thing not updated? Here we go. We could see a massive rally back up to like 200 from, I mean, that's 220. I mean, that's almost 4 times your money just on shares right here on FAS. So, but methods don't always work on leveraged instruments. So keep that in mind. Be careful. Alrighty. Moving on. Dollar just turning here. Some friends of mine think that this could be potentially bottoming on the dollar and we see another rally. I kind of am of the opinion that we're going to see a drop into this area down here around the mid-90s, possibly even down to 95, 94, somewhere down here. It may take a little longer than I have on here because this is taking a little longer. It's kind of slowed down from the beginning, from the initial drop we had back here in January, February, starting in November, I guess. And so this could take on out to July potentially to get down in this area. Be nice. Netflix reporting earnings today, this afternoon, this evening. And I'd say be careful. Like, we can definitely retrace to the roadmap line one more time. That's a good 30-point drop. We could return to their lows. That's a good 40, 50-point drop, right? But we can also break out. We've been consolidating right there, waiting for earnings. This can be the breakout. We could just pop, be at 400, 436. Remember, the gap fills at 500. So this is a longer-term bullish play. Shorter term, as in today, tomorrow, not so sure what it's going to do. Earnings are a dice roll. Like, it's roll the dice, baby. Do you get snake eyes? Do you get sevens? Do you get nothing? Gotta watch out. All right. Yeah, the dollar does look, this chart for the dollar, circling back to what Goose just said, circling back, this does look weak, and it looks like it's going to extend lower to me. I mean, just based on everything I watch, all the patterns I do, that was a bounce off the roadmap line. We need the extension. The extension's down here around 97. So, all right. Please be careful on Netflix. And then on Wednesday, we get Tesla. This one is another dice roll. It's right in between patterns here. We have held the roadmap line and pushed lower. We did not make a lower low. We made a higher low so far, holding right here. Does it bounce down, or does it just break out above these highs? And this was a trend of lower highs, even though there's just 3 of them here. That is lower highs, lower high. Got to be careful. If we get above that, we can rally strongly. The next resistance is up here around 250, 260. If we just pop up, that's the big downtrend. If you haven't been watching these a whole bunch of times, we have this downtrend of highs cooking here that we topped out back in 21. We've been down, down, down. We're going to go up and test that one more time. Whether we test it right now on earnings or if we pop down and then pop up, we'll see. I give slight bias to the downside first, but because that would be the strongest bullish move. If we retrace down to this area and then broke up, that sets it up to go much higher, up to the $500 target that I've been looking for what, 2 years? Pre-split it was $1,500. So if we did that, we get the setup to go much higher. If we just drift higher, we're probably going to spend more time consolidating in this area where we consolidated for months and months here. I mean, look at this. It's been sideways pretty much since October 21, hitting this same area over and over and over, and then it dropped down. And then it's about to be back up in there, potentially. So somewhere around 300, it can consolidate quite a bit. All right. Good, Goose. I just want everybody to know these patterns. Right now, this one's a little bit of a coin flip between bullish and bearish. I give ever so slight advantage to this because that sets it up for the most bullish future pattern. But we can just rally right up here and then consolidate and then break on out. All right. So let's actually talk about stuff that's moving today. Now that we've kind of laid out the plan here. Looks like the market just opened. Good grief, I got a lot of alerts. Yeah, market just popped open. And MDGL, pharmaceutical, looks like it's going to stay in that range. Is that a buyout target? Probably something. I don't know. Yeah, phase 3 biopsy trial. Yeah. Crypto showing a little strength this morning. Bitcoin, Ethereum rallying right back up to the highs, or toward the highs. Look at the Bitcoin futures. See, we popped right back up on the daily here. Just turning the range. I do have a higher target right up here, mid 30,000s to potentially 40,000s before we get a bigger correction on Bitcoin. So we could just do another one of these consolidations, stretch higher, consolidate, stretch higher, and just keep working it higher. That's the way it moves if it doesn't do something like this. Like if we get a big pullback, then we get energy and go higher. Otherwise, we have to churn, push higher, churn, push higher, churn. You know, they talk about the stock creeping higher. That's kind of, you got to build up some energy so you can push higher, build up some energy, push higher. You know, if you don't do these kind of pullbacks that wipe out the weekends. So MSTR looking pretty strong. LMT. Now this is interesting. I've been chasing down the defense stocks, trying to figure out how to best play them. Now I do have a target right up here that I set back in November for LMT, and it's getting awful darn close to hitting that. And LMT, NOC, Raytheon, Boeing, I can't remember the fifth one. There's basically 5 big defense contractors. Now we've pretty much cleared out all the weapons, all the stockpiles that we had. We packed them up and sent them to Ukraine, and now we're sitting on a shortage of weapons if we're going to be prepared for, the U.S. is going to be prepared. We all know this. The Navy knows it, the Air Force knows it, the Army knows it, the Marines know it. I mean, everybody knows it. Everybody's concerned about it because the capacity to manufacture more is not really in the big 5. It's contained in their subcontractors. And subcontractors, I couldn't figure out why they had why there was a lackluster performance there. Well, the big 5 get paid by the Pentagon because they hold the contracts, but the subcontractors, they get held out on their payments. I was reading about this in depth. I shared it with Goose last night. And it's creating this problem, and the Pentagon's aware of it, and there might be some shakeup and changes coming to the defense contractors. So that may be, wow, look at that pop. All of a sudden, pop right up there and hit the target. So could be some shakeup coming in the defense contractors. It's interesting situation. But that's a breakout. Target 515 right now for LMT. So right up here, right in the middle of the oval. ASML, just working on that retrace and then the pop. Hadn't changed anything there. NVIDIA still churning right here. If it can get through these highs, it can extend up to this 335 area right on the chart. Otherwise, be careful. It can retrace. Like I said, things either need a nice big retrace, big, sharp, fast retrace, or they got to turn sideways to build their energy before they can extend. That pattern holds true over and over and over. BLU, potential reversing, but doesn't look great so far. Slow bleed out. That's a pharmaceutical. ABNB, got to get above this resistance here, and then we can look for extensions out to 150, 160. FNGU, potential breakout. Do have resistance. Yeah, that's just, that one keeps showing up, and if big tech starts running, this one can break out. That's a 3x leverage type ETN. That's an exchange traded note, a little different than an ETF. BABA stuck consolidating right here between the roadmap line and this resistance, and then it has this resistance up here. Lots of stuff, and they're probably going to be broken up by the Communist Party of China. So coin, if it can get out of this little consolidation here, has opportunity to rally up to 110. Mara, again, 16 is the initial target. 15 on this chart, but 16 is really my initial target. And then mid-20s was the most ideal, most bullish target right up here. If we turn down at 15, 16, then we could go lower low. Not what I want to see. And it doesn't really fit with Bitcoin probably going bullish. Bitcoin probably going bullish into the halving. So looking for this mid-20s, then a pullback, which would kind of fit with Bitcoin. And this may be out here. We may get a little pullback in here, something like this. A couple of those on the way. That would be totally normal. Riot, almost up to the target. This is the bullish target, and we've already exceeded the bearish target at 12. So looking for this to continue right on up into this 15 or $15 to $20 area right up in here. And they can extend. They don't have to stop there. PTPI, pharmaceutical, that looks dangerous, and I'm willing to bet it retraces. Snow, stuck below the roadmap line, cannot break out of this target zone that I put on here. This would be a measured bounce type setup if it can go. It's got to break above 160, then clear the highs at 175, 180, and this junk right over here where it found resistance up to 205, 206. That's a lot of stuff to work through. GDXU, potential to push higher again. CrowdStrike, potential to get out of here. Looks like it's been beating earnings but losing money on a standardized way. So money's getting expensive. I need to do something here. It looks like we're finding resistance right at the prior, what was support, now turning resistance. If we can get up through that zone, probably back above 160, we can rally right on up to probably 200. DRMA, nice pop, but that's still pretty bearish. And another pharmaceutical. Pharmaceuticals have a tendency to be big movers, but then not do anything. QCOM, again, stuck below the roadmap line, does have an uptrend of lows, but it also has a downtrend of highs, so we're kind of in this squeeze situation. Somewhere out here, we're going to fill it out and then pop either up or down. And the range of this thing can be the size of the move. Hopefully up, but I don't know. Not so sure. I don't like that pattern. I don't like to try to trade that pattern until it does something else. And that could be like a shoulder, head, shoulder, head and shoulders there. And that could break down. Could be a shoulder, head, shoulder, and break up. And it'd be a bigger pattern from back here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. So something like this. We're likely to either break up or down. Cautious on QCOM. Yeah, when it turned down to the roadmap line and it's down here, it's concerning. And if we push below that uptrend of lows, it's probably going lower, down to 91 potentially. ALC, man, not a lot. I mean, it's a pop up today, but those are red candles, and that's not the kind of strength I like to look at. This is like an example of garbage right here. Despite it being an uptrend, but the uptrend's all red candles virtually. I mean, you got like what, 6 greens and 20 something candles. I'd be careful if I was trying to chase that. I mean, that can break right back down. So, all right, bias for the day. Looking for this breakout. That's primarily what I want to see. I am acutely aware if we break down, we'll probably go down to this 4,000 area. So, like things I've been doing, like my time loop trades and like stuff like my SPX, ES spreads and stuff like that you may have seen in Discord. I am holding off on all that stuff right now until this clarifies. Like, I need to know that this is a breakout, that we're not just going to reject this level one more time. This is a level we've rejected several times before. We could see a significant pullback from this area. If we start breaking it higher, it may just be a time to sit on my hands, because this can lead to a very swift and fast correction down lower. But this can be a huge day up, potential to make lots of money, but we need to break out. We got to get above these highs. And it can go fast. Like, we could get a big pop like we did back here, big pop up and a big drop. Yeah, that was a big range in 2 days right there. 3 days if you consider the red candle here. 4 days if you consider that one. 5 days. So in 5 days we went from 41.79 all the way down to 38. We can do that again. So 5 days time we could be going, holy crap, we hit 4,300 and we pulled back 300 points. So we could be right back down to 4,000. Entirely possible. It's right there on the chart from back here in December, popped up. 5 days later, we lost almost 300 points. All right. So if you're trying to chase a little bit of credit spreads or something, underneath the trend line here, please, please, please be careful. Please be careful. All right. If you want to continue the conversation, come join me in Discord. Links in the description. And like I said, I'll be back on YouTube live at 6 o'clock Eastern time this evening. Come watch us. Come hang out. I'll take your request for 30 minutes. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. You got to be a subscriber to chat with me to make the request. So I'll see you later today. Have a great day, everybody. Be safe out there.